It is the Jim and Terry Show coming to you from the Hobbit Hole Studio in Bobcaygeon. I'm one of your hosts, Terry.
And I am Jim.
And Jim is still
and I'm getting frustrated. The computer is fighting us all the way.
It is a fight, and it's, maybe it's a fight because our system is being crucified.
Okay, the truth of the matter is we're doing a telethon on how to raise money for our public to buy us a new computer.
Oh, to get rid of, trade in our AI assistant.
And hire Becky. Hire Becky back.
Have Becky back to serve coffee. I'm dreaming.
No wonder she quit.
No wonder she can't serve coffee. Well, I serve you coffee in the morning. I have no problem with service. Yeah. We are going to do an interesting podcast. I hope it's interesting. We're going to go from the theme of one king to no kings to King of Kings for an Easter podcast to wrap it up for this week because tomorrow's a holiday and Jim's going to be going to church.
Yes, I'm actually going tomorrow morning. I got to set my a reminder about that. I'll go for Good Friday morning. That's going to be fun.
It's going to be a crucifixion service you're intending?
This would be the crucifixion service. And then, of course, last Sunday was the triumphal entry where I paraded around with the little kids, Hosanna, Hosanna.
I was going to say, did you play the part of the donkey and they rode you?
No, we just walked around with palm branches, just waving Hosanna. Palm branches.
Yes.
Real ones, by the way.
Very good.
Well, I don't know what they were. Fern branches. I don't know what they were.
Ferns?
Well, there was something.
Okay. Hope it was palm branches, but...
They were green.
Okay. Green. You don't want to be swapping those
Where do you get them?
things.
But they were in water, keep them alive.
Well, maybe Thomas supplied them. I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
The pastor got them somewhere.
Are they imported from the Holy Land?
No, I don't think they were imported from anywhere, but I don't know exactly where he gets them, but he's good at getting stuff like that.
Oh, okay. So you have your supply. We're going to start off, though, without talking about the Easter context and the services that you will be attending. Let's go back to your lyrics and talk about your one. Yeah,
finally I got some lyrics written down.
It's taken you a doggone long time.
I know what the whole song's supposed to be about.
It's in your head.
It's in my head, but I couldn't get the lyrics, and finally, bang, a couple of verses popped out. Don't mean that that's going to be where they stick at, but at least the song, and it was all about the orange Jesus, that kind of thing coming in on.
You're contrasting leadership.
Well, because that particular person does accept worship and praise, and building gigantic statues of himself, and really he comes in on a platform of lies, deception, and corruption. So it's at this particular time, going through the No Kings protest, the song is called One King, and it talks about this particular king coming in, and that we as Christians, we have one king and everlasting, and that's Jesus. So that's the gist of my song.
So I would have said, since you're writing your song, that you're putting pen to paper, but you are not.
No, I'm not. One of my problems is, as you know, I have a dyslexic problem, and which means my whole life I've had a spelling problem. And so I find electronically, one thing I loved about the computer, it sort of liberated me, where, and now that you can dictate, because a lot of time I would type it and it would show an error, but I'd click on it and it might say change to, and you can do it. Now, you can just use your voice. You can do it for texting, too. You just saw me do it with one of my friends. I'm not sure. Around 2:30, I'm in Bobcaygeon right now, can't talk. Bang, that takes 3 seconds. If I type that, the type of typer I am, it takes way longer. So that's how I write the song. Right now, I'm writing it on my phone because my guitar's in my living room. I'm watching TV, something comes to mind. I can just mute the TV, pick up my phone, and I can say blah, 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 and fix it up later. But at least I can put down, like I put sycophant in there, because I want that to be the next line, and that's when the singer comes in a little bit more powerful.
All the words you were just describing, pretty soon you'll be doing that whole thing, dictating, I want a 12-string acoustic guitar, switch into a lead with a distortion pedal on it. Do a wah-wah pedal for that lead. You're going to be telling your phone to do all this stuff. You'll be writing the whole thing from your phone.
Yeah, probably. And, we're kind of fighting that, aren't we?
We are. You and I are.
Because AI can just make you sound way better than you really are. which means you are that good. Because that's what happens in the studio.
Yeah.
So the song's about one king, everlasting, and that the one that wants to be king shouldn't be the king of Christians. That's for sure.
And yet he continues to draw support from that very base.
Yeah, and that's where the sycophants come in. About his encouragement.
Yep.
And that's going to be the next line. But for us, we have one king. And so we go that way. Mm-hmm. And I plan to point out some of the faults between this one, the wannabe king, as I mentioned in the song. The wannabe king will accept your praise and your worship, and he does. So I don't like that in this particular person. Mm-hmm. I think we need a little bit more humility. Like maybe a Jimmy Carter, a little bit more humility.
This is funny because we're going on to switch at this point to the No Kings protest, which was one of the largest, if not, I think it's the largest, but the numbers. Have you heard any final
millions
numbers?
Anyways,
I know. Okay, millions. So which millions?
Well, if it is the largest, you just mentioned the largest prior to this was the first king, No Kings.
And there have been 3. This is the third one.
Oh, it's the third.
So they went from, the women's protest, anti-Trump, not my president protest in 2016-17 was 2, between 1 and 2. And then we got the No Kings being 2, 4, 6. Now we think this is over.
Well, and let's remember something, like the not my president thing was because of his convictions on sexual misconduct. So, and the women didn't like that idea that he was elected. Now, I guess the women who did vote for him just don't believe that's true, even though the court said it was. And so there's all the reasons these protests are taking place is because of the man. It isn't just political.
No.
It's when someone is saying, I am in control, and we know the recent war is exactly an example of that.
Yeah.
Where he declared war and then expected the rest of the world to follow him into that war.
So
that's someone who thinks he's the king.
The No Kings is all about autocracy versus democracy.
Yeah.
Democracy means the people, and autocracy is the one. Mm-hmm. So only I can fix it is not democracy.
Yeah.
So if you're following Trump at this point and you're still one of those people, whether you're a farmer who voted for Trump and now you're destitute because the potash from Canada is now being tariffed and you can't afford it for your crops for this growing season, or you're an aluminum can manufacturer in the United States and you can't get aluminum from Canada because it's being tariffed and you can't afford it, or automobiles that were manufactured across the border a dozen times before the product is actually made. All of these things have been impacted by the king's approach. He felt it in his bones.
That's why he went to war. He felt it in his bones. He announced, I believe yesterday too, that he knew all along prices were going to go up. He knew that.
He didn't
and they didn't go up as high as he thought they would, and he didn't know. And he knew the stock market would go down. It didn't go down as far as he thought it would.
Didn't go down as far as he thought. But Pam Bondi was testifying in Congress saying it's not, we should be judging Trump, the greatest president ever, by the stock market. The Dow Jones Industrial, over 50,000. And today I was just checking, it's down at 45, 46.
Yeah, it's going down, and it'll probably still go down. This is the man that knows everything, so anything that goes wrong, it's somebody else's fault. For instance, the Strait of Hormuz is blocked because the Allies didn't join in the fight, which is just not true at all. It was open, free, oil was flowing, everything was fine until United States and Israel decided to start bombing.
Unilaterally,
and so that's what happened there.
Okay, so let's wrap up that and say we went from your song, One King, to the protest, No Kings. Now we're at Easter and the King of Kings.
So, last Sunday we celebrated a Palm Sunday, which was a lot of fun. The children love it. We get palm leaves and we parade around inside the church singing Hosanna, and it's really, really quite nice. And the kids go off to Sunday school and we have a service. All of these 3 services are going to be about Jesus and his triumphant entry, and then his crucifixion, which we will mark tomorrow. And then I just wanted to point out one more thing, that according to prophecy, Jesus did ride into Jerusalem humble and on a donkey.
Humble.
Humble.
Not the Orange Jesus style riding in the
That's
beast
right.
or a golf cart.
So the King of Kings, creator of heaven and earth, was humble before the people. And
A lesson for the Orange Jesus.
That's right.
Jim and Terry Show. Happy Easter, everybody.
it's complicated.
This relationship I have with my morning coffee.